I'm just going to walk in through the door to my studio. It's just a fairly small room, which would normally be a bedroom, and it's become my studio, and it's my place of joy and place where I just love to be. On the door is my recent wall art called The Land Remembers, which I shared a video or two ago, and I'm looking at entering that into some exhibitions. As you come in, you'll see my work table, which isn't enormous, but it does work really well. And I'll just come closer and you'll see my sewing machine, which I turn around when I need to use it. And I have my iPad there so that I can watch videos while I'm stitching or listen to music. And a vintage lamp, which helps to light up my work so I can see. On the table also are the recent things that I've been making, which I shared in episode 22 of On My Studio Table. And you'll see that I've made some cards since the video. Here are the twig books, which I made, and the greeting cards with the foldable envelopes. And there's the pile of eco prints on photo paper, which were so surprising and pleasing. And underneath are some more papers which I haven't used yet. My lovely journal, which I enjoy doing so much with K3N, Catherine Chambers, and 3 of my scrolls on the table. Usually they're stored away, but I have them out again for a while. I'm thinking about selling them actually. Then the view outside and my paraphernalia for making the YouTube videos. So you can see through to the trees which are across the road but are still on our property, and the new garden that we've planted. Then we have my cupboard, which is usually behind me when I do my YouTube videos, and you'll see hanging there an artwork that I made of paper and cloth and tea bags, which was featured recently in Quilting Arts, the summer issue, and the triptych that I'm working on, and I'm going to do some more stitching on that soon. On the top I have some baskets for storage, and the lovely freeform basket on the top was made by a friend called Beth, and if you remember, I've shared her exhibition, her retrospective exhibition, with the items that she bequeathed to the St Helens History Room after she passed away. This little vignette on top of the cupboard features some dried twigs in an old crock pot, a little art piece that was chosen for me by my son's partner and was a gift from them, and a little mannequin that I embroidered and made after a retreat last year. Then we'll move along and we have some more baskets, some packaging at the top, and I try to recycle packaging as much as possible for mail orders. And the baskets I started to buy to replace my plastic tubs, and I bought this amount of them and then I couldn't get any more, so I'm looking for another possibility that's not too expensive. Just so you get an idea of what I've got stored in my baskets, I have things like drawing supplies, beads, collage supplies, buttons, and of course I've got found objects, and I often sketch design ideas, so there's a box for them. Some of them I've had for a long time and never done anything with. Hidden Treasures, which is an online class I'd like to teach, so I won't say any more about that just yet. And a few other bits and pieces, partially done work from the past, and some fabric designs that I did using Spoonflower, which is an online program that prints fabrics. I might share them sometime. And because the room is small, I have a stand with clothes hanging on it that have been eco-printed, and one of my mannequins, the rest are stored away, and behind is some more storage. And I'll just go forward a bit so you can see. So I have some black archive boxes. I just need to be careful not to let my shadow fall on this. On the floor are spare hangers, in a couple of boxes, and underneath that hanger box there's a paper shredder, and I do need to get rid of some old files which have been around for about 20 years I think. And I like using old suitcases for storage too. I have them in the bedroom and in our walk-in wardrobe for storing all sorts of things, including my artworks. And then if I go around this way, you'll see the other wall, which I don't normally show in my videos. These are all plastic tubs of different kinds of fabrics, even things like old choir robes, cushion inserts, mostly vintage and recycled fabrics, eco-printed papers, and all sorts of things. In the corner here, I have some of the bags that are used for bedding when you buy new bedding, and they store my wool blankets and some wool filling. This basket holds my current threads and projects that I'm working on, so I can just take it with me if I go to stitching or want to go to another room in the house. This little trolley has all my rotary cutters, scissors, bobbins, feet for my sewing machine, pins, and all sorts of bits and pieces. On the bottom, which you can't really see, I have lots of different threads for my sewing machine, and as you can see I do like storing my things in tins, so I do save them. Some of them are quite old. I thought you might like to have a closer look at what's on this little trolley. I've actually had it for many years. We bought it for our son's bedroom when he was still living at home, and he's in his 40s now, so that tells you how long I've had it. It was really since he left home, I think, that I've hung on to it, and it's had various uses over the years. And I've tried to fit everything in so that it's a good use of space. So this tin was given to us last year with some really lovely treats in it from our nieces, and it's become a tin for my rotary cutters. This is a vintage tin. I think that belonged to my mother-in-law actually. This one we've had for many years as well, and it's like a tram car. And then if we go down to the next shelf, these are different threads. I think that those are my wool threads in that one. And then this is another one. It has little scraps of fabric that I use for my applique, especially for the journal pages that I work on. And this one is empty at the moment. Oh no, it's not empty. I'll just open it. I'd almost forgotten this tin had this in it. But these strips of wool do get used for my applique, again in my journal, but also for my art quilts. This is an old tin that I found recently, and I wanted something to put my neutral coloured sewing machine threads in. So that's just black, white and cream threads, because I use them more than any other colours really. And I really like this old tin, so it adds to my collection. And then at the bottom is a very old Tupperware tin with a printout of my sewing machine manual. And the Tupperware tin has lots of, well, container, not a tin really. It has lots of little trays and things in it, so I keep my other sewing machine threads in that, lots of different colours. Briefly see into our hallway, which also is like a gallery, which we will be using for gallery displays. Behind the door, where I don't have to look at them too often, are all my papers, boxes of them. So I've been hanging other things in front of it, and these are different things that I've made and or eco-printed. And I'll just turn around again. I hope I didn't go too fast then. A couple of old suitcases on the floor. One of them I use when I go to events, so I can keep my card reader and change and stapler and scissors and pins and all those things that I might need. Underneath is the suitcase which goes with the dress I just showed you. And I'll just step back and you can see the necklace that I made on the mannequin, one of 3 or 4 that I did. a collection of embroidery hoops, mostly from thrift shops. And I don't actually use them, but I just like the look of them. I've just moved the mannequin so you can see what's behind it. I have some baskets with the fabrics that were given to me by my friend Beth, who I mentioned earlier. There's my needle felting machine, and I've got some current projects in that box, and my tools and implements in this box, including a little craft iron, a small cutting board and so on. My large cutting board is behind this shelf, and my long cutting ruler. And these boxes were recycled packaging from our local chemist, and the ones at the bottom are vintage wooden boxes also. So I'm gradually replacing my plastic bins with vintage and more natural types of storage, which I really prefer. And the other thing I wanted to show you is this flat bit of plastic bag contains something very special. You can just see it through the semi-transparent cover. This is scraps of wallpaper from a hotel in Avoca, Tasmania, which is being restored. And I'll share the link to their Instagram page because it's very interesting. They've been discovering lots of things as I peel back the layers. And I'll be making an artwork from these fragments. I'm just letting the ideas mull over in my mind until I can think of what to do. I want to do them justice. On the chair I have the other work in progress, which is my meditation cloth, which I've added other things to and I'm still working on. So I'll just step back to give you an overview again. And I guess you could say it's a small but beautiful space.